Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. I really appreciate you coming out and looking at this junk on four wheels. Scrapper that delivers has been here twice in 3 days. He called me this morning, said I've got two on the truck. Can I come by and show you what I have? I said sure. So he had these two strapped to the tailgate for easy access. They're both Honda machines, and we'll discuss condition. We got good condition, bad condition. So this first one, let me see. It's a complete unit, GCV 160 Black Max. It's got a production date, emissions control. Sorry, I should have been better prepared for you. I'm still here. I don't know. I don't see the production date. Maybe I see an 2008, January, February, March, April of 2008 is what I'm seeing. Sorry. Yep, 2008. I need better glasses. It was up here in small print. So before he unstrapped them, I says, what do you got to get out of them? He said, well, I had to buy this one from another scrapper. I paid 10 for it, so I want to get 20. I said, that's fine. And then I looked at this. I says, well, this one's shot. I says, maybe I can use the engine. Pull rope is dead on this. The deck is shot. This was a boat anchor. So as far as anything else, maybe wheels and handle. So we're going to try to start this. If the engine starts, I kind of looked at blade clearance. It's not going to hit the ground. But let me try to stabilize you here. You can see how unstable that is. So production date on this Honda Harmony 2. It's the 216. I can give you the real production number. Hilo Romeo Sierra 2162 Papa David Alpha. The thing I like about this is it's a standard pusher. You've got your bail bar for the emergency brake and then your throttle cable. Unfortunately, the deck is shot. I would really have liked to have had this standard pusher because their propulsion systems are a pain in my bottom. So unfortunately, the deck is unsalvageable. Well-used oil. Stick it in the threads. And we got enough oil in this to start. I looked at the Black Max. Somebody had changed the oil on that, so I don't know what we're going to find. He said he cleaned it up, washed it off. He said he used starter fluid. It would start and stall, so maybe we're looking at a fuel thing. On the rusty one, I'd have to dig deeper. I don't see any emissions control sticker, so I don't know what year this thing is. Let's look at the 2008. Try to start it. Just had two people come out. First one, dad and his 10-year-old son. They messaged me yesterday, said the 10-year-old wanted to start a lawn care business. He had 3 people in the neighborhood, so I was kind of skeptical of a 10-year-old pushing a mower. I talked to the dad and I said, I haven't had any 10-year-olds using a lawnmower. He says, oh, I'll be supervising him, and so I showed him some lightweight units, but he ended up going with a self-propelled unit. So I spent about 30 minutes with him, showing him how to maintain it, how to make not corners, when you come to a dead end, lift the front end off the ground, etc., etc. I spent a lot of time with him. The dad asked me a bunch of questions. The kid didn't seem too interested. So we got some contamination. I think I do see a water level, a water layer there, if you're seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah, I can definitely see a separation, basically. You can't really tell you're in the shade. I didn't want to burn you. But I know there's water in the tank. That's why I took a sample. When it was starting installing, like he said, that's my first go-to, was contaminated fuel. So if I do a quick carb clean on this, maybe I can roll this to the front line. The only other thing I saw is the filter. I looked at this. It seems like the pleats are oil saturated for some unknown reason. The oil level didn't look overly full when I looked at it. So why don't we choke this? And we know we're not going to get good results because water doesn't burn. But let's just see if it fires off. What I may do is lift the front end. The other thing, wheeling it here to the yard, the front wheel seemed clanky, and you can hear that. There's a bunch of grinding going on. So I got to look at this front end, remove the wheels, and see if I got to lube up something. Okay, just feeling under the machine, we got to turn this one over. So let me do that. We're going to look under here. I can feel the problem right away. So what do you think of my 2 turds for 30? I figured this one looks so good for 20. I wasn't going to pass it up. Okay, so this is a well-used unit for an 08. The whole bottom here is pretty used. It's got a weird blade as far as the lift. Kind of a crazy lift on this, really high back. So this was what I was feeling, all this grass buildup. And it's kind of clunky. See if the belt is there. Trying to feel the belt. Okay, I do feel the belt. Belt feels good. So they were just by looking at this off-roading it, some stick action. High grass got wrapped up here on the axle. So they were cutting in a big field somewhere. They should have been using a lawn tractor, not a little Honda pusher, but you know how that goes. Okay, let me put you back up here. Turn this over. Don't turn you over. And I'll pull on it, see if it fires on its own. So I'm kind of excited about this $20 unit. This will be a good seller if I can rectify it. The Honda model number, it's a 21-inch, by the way, 961-4400-3000. So assembled in the U.S., McCary, Georgia. That sounds familiar. I think there was another unit recently that came over my driveway with that. So we leaked a little oil here. Let me just check this one more time. Some oil came out of the exhaust. So I don't know why. And there's a big burn mark on the side discharge chute here where I'm sticking the dipstick in the muffler hole, but there's a lot of oil pouring out of the hole here. So I'm showing about halfway up on the dipstick. Just put the threads in the hole. Yeah, it's about halfway or a quarter way. There's enough in here to start. It's not at the top line. Okay, I'm going to get behind it and pull and figure out what this thing's doing. Automatic, no, it's not an automatic choke. Manual choke, I got to put the choke lever to the back here. There's a big arrow. My fuel is on, so we're good there, but we know it's watery fuel. Doesn't sound like it's got good compression. Just seems to be turning over easy. Let's juice it. Okay, I'll leave the cover off. Since the air filter and cover are all oily, I'm leaving that off. Some backfiring. It's pulling over real easy, and this choke should release and go something like that. I don't know why. Once you pull needs to be oiled up. Once you pull the brake bar, it should release like that. I can smell carb clean, so maybe we don't have spark. Let's pull that plug real quick. So we're digging deep here already, trying to troubleshoot this thing. Why isn't it cooperating? You know what I mean? He said he got it to fire off. Too big a socket. Need a smaller socket. So he said it fired off. Why can't we get those results? I want to duplicate the results that he had. I don't think he would mislead me. That would be uncool. So going on his assumption that it started and could be a runner. Okay, now we're cooking with fire. I got to get a hand clip for the bail bar. We just might mess with this and not the rust bucket. The Harmony 2 HRS 216, year unknown. But since I gave 10 for it, it'd be nice to figure out if that engine can be dismounted. Okay. A little bit of snot on the plug. Let me snatch up a clip. Clip the bail bar, tug on the string, ground out the plug on the valve cover. We do have spark, so this goes back in. Why don't we direct inject? You should do that as a kid. Remove the plug and put a cap full of gas right down the cylinder. Well, I removed the plug and gave it a direct nitro injection. So maybe we have a weak plug. Who's leaving? Looks like Delta. Delta's leaving low and slow. Okay, I'm gonna leave choke off, get all that extra air in there to mix with that double shot of happy juice. Okay, it's spit. I'm gonna choke it now. So maybe I got hoodwinked on this deal. Or is there so much water in here it's not old? The carb clean isn't overcoming the water. That was a pisser. We're dead. We're dead, I say. What I need is this pull cord for the other Honda. I'm going to try to start that one. That'd be a hoot if the shit box started and my high dollar machine did not. I guess I got to go through the fuel system just to eliminate that. Like I said, maybe the water's overcoming the fuel I'm spraying in there. So that kind of stinks. Okay, let me move this forward. We'll move the shit box up in its place. Okay. I got to remove the rope from the little tie down. It's always something at Tommy time. So I'll probably, I might have to push this to the side for the moment. I've got a couple other quick and easy projects that I want to do. Low-hanging fruit, I guess you would say. A couple of quick carb cleans that I know it's going to be a rectification. I may have a couple of decks, good decks, bad engines. If this thing does anything, I may be able to use this. Okay, so we're kind of striking out here today. $30, and I'm not overly impressed. Somewhat impressed, not overly impressed. If I want to be impressed, this thing's got to work for us. Just wish the deck wasn't blown out on this thing. A Honda standard pusher would have been nice to have. Okay, I think this thing might retract on its own. It might be gummed up. It feels like the spring is retracting. But we know we got a good one here off the high dollar machine. So let's zip zap this thing back in place. So like I said, had 2 sales today. The kid and his dad, and then a young couple came out. I had a machine for $130, and they said, how about $90? One of those deals. And I said, I got $300 machines. I'll discount one of those 3 for you down to $90 if you want to come out. So I put those to the side. They came out. He kind of looked around. He ended up buying the Green Craftsman Tecumseh powered thing with a really rusty deck. Lawrence Carroll said I should have cleaned up all the rust on the one side. I put a new carb on that unit. I had put too big of a carburetor on it, removed it, put the right size carb, LVE90 I think, or LEV90 carb for that. So they were happy with that. I told them that surface rust, don't worry about it. He said he had a small yard. He was not worried about it either. He seemed to have some mechanical abilities. Said he worked at a Chevy service center for a while. So let's see, what do we got here? We just got to pull and go. That's what I'm going to do with this thing. I think the tank was empty. No, there is gas in it. Okay. So maybe this thing would have started on its own. It's got gas, but how old it is, I don't know. But the fuel valve is on. This thing might start now. So let me do that. I choked it, pulled the bail barb back. Uh-oh, that thing's really jumping. Not bad plan. Oh wow, this thing's really jumping. I'm trying to pull horizontally here. So it fired off. Each time I pull on it, it's pulling the whole engine up, and the blades knocking the frame. I'm not going to mess with it. It fired off. I'm going to disassemble the engine from this deck. So kind of surprised it did fire off. So this thing got to the point where they were starting it all the time. The blades bang and the body here. They probably thought, let's call this thing quits before something terribly bad goes wrong. And so this thing went to the street. I mean, talking about running a Honda into the ground, I think this is a good example of that. They ran it beyond its life expectancy. How do you like that? Yeah, that's not really good. I could probably pull the engine off without the bolts if I wanted to, because there's not too much supporting this thing. Oh, wow. So what, they were having a bad week in Alpharetta, Georgia, huh? Or something. They didn't use good steel, or was this a boat anchor? Gulf of Mexico tends to do that. Anyway, you get the big picture. I'm going to salvage this engine. I'll goose up the bolts with my concoction, the acetone ATF. Put a little dab here just to try to soften these up so I can get this engine off the deck. This crap box, no idea why this 2008 is not cooperating. When I do come back to it, I'll come to the bowl here, drain that off, see what that looks like. Right now, I don't have time to mess with this. I've got a couple of easy Briggs & Stratton fixes that I can do. Low-hanging fruit, like I said. These longer project things here are going to come second. I want to maintain my inventory, 15 to 20 mowers. I go into a full run panic when I'm down to 14 mowers. That's unacceptable. We got to have 15 and above. As always, I appreciate you coming out to Tommy Time. Mr. Cluck and I are going to get busy. We're going to do a few repairs here, and we're going to have a good rest of the day. We hope that you do as well. And as always, if you're out eating chicken, please tip your waitress and waitstaff. They're going to really appreciate that. Have a clucking day.